We get a lot of Frenchies here, which is a good thing because I am a Frenchy Bulldog, whatever you want to call it, lover, and so I get the pleasure of doing them. But I gotta say, of all the breeds that I do Microbubbles on, I think the Frenchies fall asleep the most. They just tend to, which is unusual, right? Because Frenchies tend to be very active, but I get them in a Microbubbles bath, and I swear, there's something about the bath. They just start to fall asleep. But if you haven't seen my videos on Microbubbles, I'm going to fill you guys in a little bit. But what it does is it goes down into the hair follicle, which I've talked about before is actually large enough for 3 hairs versus the human hair follicle, like the little male hair follicles are big enough for 1 hair. So it's a little bit bigger than ours, and so this allows these little tiny microbubbles to go down into the follicle, and then they come up, they bring with it all sorts of debris and soaps and all sorts of stuff. It's really quite interesting. I know I keep saying I'm going to start this, but I never know if I'm going to have a calm dog. I usually do. I should have known because the Frenchies always do, but when we first started this water was 100% clear. And there is nothing in this water that would create bubbles that you're thinking when I say microbubbles. It is not something, this is the microbubble. It doesn't foam up, it doesn't make any kind of a film or anything. But we're pulling all of that bubble out of the follicles. And so after they've been in it, it's why it takes a long time, because it takes about 15 to 20 minutes of us just kind of keeping this on their feet, which there's a big, a lot of the itching, you can see a lot of the paw licking that's going on, and you know that because of the discoloration in the paws. So we're going to try a Microbubbles on this guy, but I do want to take the opportunity to talk to you guys a little bit about some other things that cause paw licking. Sometimes it can be from arthritis in the paws. So I always tell people, if you have a dog that is a puller when you go for walks, you want to be really cautious that they are not pulling, and create arthritis in the paws. Other things that can cause that arthritis to grow in there, to form up around the ankles of your dog's feet is ball chasing. So a lot of times people don't realize that ball chasing can also cause paw licking. When you think about it, an animal is not, in the wild they hunt their food, they hunt it down, they get it, and it's done. They don't do repetitive over and over ball chasing. So that can actually be a cause. We want to look at all of the causes, but some of the causes can be allergens, can be soaps and things. They pick up all sorts of stuff in their feet when they're walking in grasses and stuff, and so that's where the Microbubbles will sometimes work. If we can pull out. The greatest thing about this is their feet are just in that the whole time, and we can see because I did not bathe this dog before I groomed him, so there wasn't any fresh soap on him at all. I don't know if you guys can see, maybe it's not getting picked up, but there it is, a little black dot. You see that right there? So sometimes it'll start pulling up, kind of like blackheads, where there's just kind of just stuff stuck in the little follicle. So we'll start to see little black things coming up out of the skin, and that's just from these little tiny microbubbles getting down in there. So it's just kind of interesting to see how much soap was trapped. That's all coming out of the pores, out of the skin, everything. And you could tell also, because I told you I didn't bathe her before the bath, she wasn't a dirty dog. So she's getting baths, clearly, because she wasn't a dirty dog, because the water would be black, and water is not black. So she's getting baths, and no matter how much we rinse, and no matter how much we, think we're doing all, and they don't smell like it, or whatever it is, that stuff gets trapped in there. And that's the stuff that can a lot of times cause those allergens for these dogs. And then what sucks is that we're running around, changing their diets, which is great. Of course, I'm not going to say that diet can't also play a role in it. But we're running around changing diets. We're getting Cytopoint injections and Apoquel injections and all of these things. And here we are going, wow, all that stuff is getting trapped. And we're we're not addressing it, how do we get it out? And then a lot of times what happens is we go to our vets and they tell us to do more shampoo. Oh, you need to bathe him 2 or 3 times a week in this really super expensive medicated bath. And this is what could actually be part of the problem. So after you get a microbubbles bath, those follicles are very exposed. So we want to make sure we're not taking them out and letting them roll around in anything for just about a day. And then it should seal everything back up. And then that's when we kind of start to see whether or not our microbubbles work. Microbubbles, depending on the severity of it, doesn't always work the first time. I get a lot of people who say they were a little bit better and then we'll keep going. But I always tell people to try this at least 3 times in a week, in your first week. And if it's not working, then it's probably, I mean, I don't expect miracles in some of the worst cases, but if after 3 microbubbles you don't see any results at all, then it's probably not going to be the solution for you, well, which would mean it's not the cause, it's not trapped hair goop and gross stuff in there. Although it's kind of nice to get that out. It's kind of nice to see like all of this trapped in there. It also helps for shedding. I don't know if you can see some of that hair, the old hair that's just kind of coming up out of the water. So it's really quite interesting. I love microbubbles. I love watching the transformations. So, all right, guys, another little microbubbles session. I think I'm going to go live tonight for anybody who might be interested. I'm going to try to go live around 5 o'clock tonight to talk about. It occurred to me that, you know, the holiday season is here, and the likelihood of nobody boarding their dogs during the holiday season is probably not likely. And so if you are going to find yourself at a boarding facility this holiday, I want you to know what questions to ask and possibly even teach your boarding facilities some things they can do. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight at 5 o'clock. So we haven't posted it yet because I wasn't sure if I could do it, but I think I can. So I will see you guys tonight if you're thinking about boarding your dogs, what questions you should be asking, and maybe we can work together to try to get boarding facilities to do a little bit better. And I will talk to you guys later. I gotta finish this guy. Alright? Can't tell, like sometimes people ask questions, but I'm focused on doing this, so I can't always see if there's anything in there. So. Alright guys, have a wonderful day. I'll see you later. Bye.